Today we are joined on the High School Basketball Happenings podcast by Jalen Green. Jalen is a 6'5" shooting guard from California who played at Prolific Prep in Napa, California this last season. It would take me a while to list all of Jalen's accolades, but I'll call out a few. He was the FIBA Under-17 World Cup MVP in 2018. He led Team Why Not to the finals of the 2019 Nike EYBL Peach Jam in what was an absolutely thrilling game against Motani Elite. This year, he led Prolific Prep to a 31-3 record while playing against really stiff, challenging national competition. He was selected to be a member of the McDonald's All-American Game, the Jordan Brand Classic, and the Nike Hoop Summit before all those events were canceled because of COVID. And oh, by the way, he's currently the number one player ranked in the ESPN Player Rankings for the class of 2020.
Jalen Green, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's been a while since we had a chance to really talk. So much has been going on in your life.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, was it? About 10 days ago, you made an announcement for the G League. What has life been like since that big announcement? And I know it's been big for you.
Yes, sir. It's been very busy. A lot of meetings, a lot of interviews, just a lot of new things, new material coming since it's like NBA partnership. So yeah.
When you think back to your announcement, what was the deciding factor to go that route versus the college route?
The deciding factor was just getting better and preparing myself for the NBA. That's the ultimate goal. And they're giving me the opportunity to train with pros, be around pros, and still get the education because they're paying for 4 years.
Well, speaking about getting better and improvement, when we saw each other at the Peach Jam last year, you were starting to shoot the leather off of it, right?
Yes, sir.
You kind of first started to shoot the leather off of it. You got your Team Why Not, played in the championship game against Motani Elite.
Yes, sir.
But you had a strong Peach Jam and a strong EYBL. How did that jump shot start to evolve last July?
Well, I just started working on it a lot. We knew that people were saying I didn't really have a jump shot. I was known for being more just a dunker and just being explosive and getting to the rim. But I felt I always had a jump shot I could shoot, but we just improved it, got it more lined up, and Peach Jams when it just started to show and started falling.
When you think about your shot preparation, what are some of the mechanics maybe you could share with us that you really worked on, honed in on to polish up that jumper?
My freshman, sophomore, and a little bit of my junior year, I would bring it from across my body from my left hip. So the main thing was just getting stronger and getting it more lined up, just keeping it right in front of me. And I think that was the biggest thing. And getting stronger also helped a lot because I could just bring it up, not have to really push it.
Jalen, you've been the face of the Unicorn fam for a couple of years now. Can you describe what the feeling is like when you go to tournaments and games and fans of all ages are throwing up the Unicorn symbol to you?
It's crazy. It puts a smile on my face. It's really exciting that people are following me in the Unicorn scent. Yeah, it makes me happy that I could lead all these kids and like inspire them to be different.
Maybe a follow-up question to that. What's the most unique or bizarre place or situation where someone who you didn't expect to know about the Unicorn fam made a reference?
I don't know if it was really like they referenced to the Unicorn fam, or they sort of did, but a couple NBA players would say like I was different, and that kind of like honed into being a unicorn.
Very good.
Well, I mean, you talk about being a unicorn. Your athleticism is unicornish-like. I mean, how much have you worked on your athleticism, and how much of it is just natural ability?
I worked on it all 8th grade, summer, high school. I sat out that whole year just trying to get better and running miles, weight vests, just in the gym, getting stronger. And I think that's like really set it off and like brought my athleticism out. Yeah, pretty much it.
Well, today we just came out with the ESPN Final Top 100. You got any questions for me about that?
Where am I ranked at?
Well, what'd you say? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I had you on.
I said, where am I ranked at? I'm still number one.
Congratulations. You have held on to that number one spot in the ESPN 100.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, Jalen.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
What does something like that, mean to you? I know you're not caught up into rankings because I've watched you. You're a hardworking kid with a lot of natural ability, but you've put a lot of, I tell people all the time, you put a lot of unseen hours into the game and into your body. What is being ranked number one? What does that mean to you?
I think you just pretty much said it. The whole unseen hours just in the gym, really focusing and locking in on the court and getting better. And the fact that I'm number one for everyone to see, it just means a lot because it's finally like paying off, and it's just making me work harder and harder.
Well, you worked hard to get to that spot. You now have worked very hard to keep that spot, and that ranking is now behind you after today. And as you play into the G League, you have to kind of reset the button on yourself and your game. So with that said, as you step into that, that new court, that new arena, what are some of the things that you're working on to improve?
Basically just getting stronger. The G League, you're playing with grown men. They're pros, so I just got to develop more strength, more IQ, handling the ball. I'm going to have the ball in my hands. Things like that, just to get better overall. I mean, there's always room for improvement, so I'm just going to go in with a killer mindset and just try to add to my bag every day that I can.
Right, now that you're past the recruiting stage, next wave of recruits are coming up, right? The 2021 class, 2022. What would be your advice to someone coming up through the recruiting process right now if you had to talk to them about how to handle the process?
I would say first start off with making your circle small, keeping a small circle that you could talk to and that you really trust, so you have a good deciding process, people you could talk to about it. And within coming down to a decision, just go over all the pros and cons, what's going to be the best decision for you and your family. And if your ultimate dream is to get to the NBA, that's going to be the biggest thing for you. So just stay locked in, keep getting better.
Easy to say, hard to do, right?
Very hard to do.
Want to share any stories about that?
Just the whole 8th grade summer, that was probably my hardest year, sitting out, not playing, and just going back and forth between workouts, driving 30 minutes to Fresno to work out, 30 minutes back, just a lot of things we had to sacrifice.
A lot of people try to get into that circle, I would imagine.
Exactly, get into that circle. So, I mean, I knew I had a tight circle since 8th grade, and that's what's been working all the way up to now, so I'm not going to change that.
That's great advice. Last basketball question here. We talked about your ability. You've used some words like focus and sacrifice. You have the talent, but it's going to be your traits that are going to put you over the top. What traits, what intangibles do you feel like you really have that make you the player that you are? And maybe what's one intangible you'd like to get a little bit more of?
I think my IQ is very high. I want to be more of a leader. Since I said I want to be different, and so I just want to carry myself differently on the court, so people can follow that and see that I have a winning passion and want to win and want to do better for the team.
That's great, man. Zain?
Jalen, so maybe one more basketball question. So now that folks have had a couple of weeks to digest your decision to go to the G League, have any of the top players in 2021 or 2022, without disclosing names, been reaching out to you for advice? And what was your thought process on going to the G League versus going the collegiate route?
Well, all the 2021 players, I talked to a couple of them, and I know they look up to me as a big bro in the situation. So before I even made the decision, they were still asking me for advice and like what I do in these situations, and I always tell them. And but yeah, I'm really close with a lot of the 2021 players, so they're like, it's like little bro, big bro type of thing.
Very good.
I got one final question, and this is not basketball related, okay?
Yes, sir.
Well, there's two questions, actually. You know I'm not going to let you go with one question.
Nah, yeah, it's good.
No, that's not how I roll, right?
I'm on your time.
You have a pet at home. Tell us about your pet, what it is, the name, and your relationship. I mean, you know, your feelings for that pet. And if you couldn't play ball, what would you do?
My dog, I have a dog at home, and his name is Twilight. I think he's 12 years old. I've had him since I was like 8 or something like that. And he's been in my family for a while now. He stays at my sister's house. And what I would do what would I do if I wasn't playing basketball? In the beginning, I wanted to be a vet because I liked animals, and animals was a big thing for me because I grew up on a farm type of thing in the country. So I was just around a whole bunch of animals. And then as I'm getting older, I'm starting to like find other things I'm interested in. Like as of now, I'm starting to get into fashion and clothes and things like that. And it's coming big for me. And like, since I want to be different, I want to like start my own business or something like that people can follow, just like the unicorn thing and how people look up to that.
Great, terrific. And great advice for the next generation too.
Yes, sir.
Jalen, one final question for you. We see that you've been active on TikTok. What is your favorite dance or trend taking place on Instagram or TikTok?
I have been active on TikTok a lot, but I don't think I really have a favorite dance. Whenever I see one that I think I could do, because there's a lot of movement into TikTok, so they're not easy to get down. So I mean, whenever one I see is just easy for me to do, or I'll do it. But I mean, I like dancing, so I'll do any type of TikTok.
Paul, your favorite is the Tootsie Slide, right, Paul?
Yeah, the roll slide. Hey, Zain, thank you for that question on the TikTok for Jalen. And Jalen, we're going to let you go. Now, you've had 100 people probably interview you, I would say, this year. But there must be a favorite that you have in mind, maybe somebody from the Chick-fil-A Classic who, you know, interviewed you. Do you have a favorite sideline reporter maybe?
The Biancardis. I know Miss Biancardi, your daughter, has interviewed me at the Chick-fil-A, and she gave me a good interview twice. Okay. So give me an interview. This the best one so far right here.
There it is. Hey, not only is he talented, but he's smart too.
He's protecting the brand. He's going to be a great businessman.
Protecting the brand.
Jalen, it's been a real pleasure to get to watch you play as a high schooler and get to know you as a person. And myself and Zain and I know the basketball community that watches you, we're rooting for you and wish you all the best in the G League and beyond.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for joining, Jalen. Congratulations.
Have a good one. Thank you. You guys have a good one.